You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney theme parks podcast, and this is show number 323 for Sunday the 12th of July 2020.
Where dreams begin.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's, slightly later than usual, Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jayne.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we this very fine week?
I'm diddling along. How's you?
I'm quite glad to see some bit of that blue sky malarkey, because I've been freezing all this week. We've had horrible weather where I've been, so I'm now looking out of my window and there's blue sky and white fluffy clouds, and I feel a little bit better for seeing that, to be fair.
I must admit today's weather is looking pretty good. So first things first, sorry it's a bit late. Hands up, my bad. I've been having one or two issues with regards to my recovery from COVID, and I've just literally had no energy to do a day's work, come home and record and edit and everything else. I have just been absolutely worn out. And also when you're podcasting, you need to actually be able to speak. And I've been a little bit breathless, so we sort of delayed things just to make sure that we could put the show out and put it across in such an enthusiastic way, because we didn't want to record it if we're not full of energy, because that makes it boring listening for you guys.
Well, yeah, and we also, most importantly, Michelle, we need you to be well. True. So, that's the main thing. Michelle isn't very good at stopping people. This is the problem. She just keeps on going and keeps on going. She's a bit like that Energizer bunny, and she just sometimes needs to realise that she has to slow down a little bit and take things a little bit steady, don't you, Michelle?
Yes, I was better behaved at work on Friday after the stern telling off I got from Jayne and the doctor, who basically told me off for lifting cabinets and dragging tables across rooms and things, and said, no, your lungs are still recovering from COVID. And This is my public service announcement, people. Please do what keeps you safe still, because this darn thing is still out there. And I'm 3 months in since I got my positive test back, and I am still not right. So even people who don't end up on a ventilator and whatever are still having quite nasty, long-lasting side effects from this. And I must admit, on a plus side, I have got an amazing collection of face masks now.
Well, you know what? I was only talking with Molly this morning, and we were saying that there's a whole new market out there for having a different face mask to complement one's outfit.
I've my name is Michelle, and I've got a bit of a face mask addiction going on, because I think I've got over 20 now, and I've actually got some that match skirts that I've got, so yeah.
Well, look, if we're going to have to cover up part of our body, then we might as well make the best use of it and make it look darn good and fit in with whatever outfit we're wearing, mightn't we?
True. Admittedly, I'm not wearing those skirts at the moment, because when I'm at work, I tend to wear denim and a t-shirt, and when I come home, I put them in the washing machine, shower, and put my pyjamas on. So...
Oh, you have that routine as well, Michelle.
Do you know what? I think there's a lot of people do, but they are Disney pyjamas. But
that's okay then.
Yeah, they getting a little bit too close for comfort at the moment. So I think the COVID recovery has I've been hitting the biscuits too much. So I'm being a little bit better girl this next week.
Good.
But yes, I am feeling a bit better. It's going to take a while. I did have a little bit of a splurge and replaced my broken iWatch. So I now have the new one, and I've got, listen, look, I love this.
It's 2:53.
I love it. I could do it all the time. I might just stop and do that through the show. But yeah, I had been using Tom's, because I sort of miss having it with me because I've got used to having it to make sure I'm, on track with everything. So, yes, I got that. And we went to pick it up on Friday, and we went to this big, well-known shopping mall in Manchester, and we went straight to the Apple store, and there was a line of about 4 or 5 people, all very socially distant, and the Apple staff came out, and they asked what I was there for. I told them. He said, well, do you need to go into the store? I said, well, not really. I just need to pick up my iWatch. He said, well, if you need to go in the store, we're taking temperatures. You'll have to anti-bac and you'll have to wear a mask. But both Tom and I already had our masks on. I says, well, I don't really need to go in. I just want to collect it. So he says, well, if you go wait over there, over by that plant pot, somebody will come and bring it out to you. So literally we waited 3 minutes and the watch came to me.
Fab.
We then made a quick hot tail down to the Disney store to buy 1 or 2 things there. Disney, fantastic. They had barriers, they had a cast member, they had anti-bac, and nobody got in that store without a face mask. And they were giving out face masks using tongs. Not just fingers, tongs.
Good on them.
And they were limiting the number in the store. And I picked up a little necklace which had a Minnie Mouse on it. It was from the kids' range. It was £8. And we took it to the cash desk and we were talking to the cashier, and we bought another little box, gift box to put my dad in so he's no longer in a Christmas box. And the guy, amazing, awesome dude called Paul. So if you are listening, Paul, you are amazing. He gave me a massive envelope stuffed full of Mickey confetti. About 15 sheets of gift wrap. So he was amazing. He was such an amazing cast member. Really nice to be back within the Disney bubble, even if it was just a very small Disney store.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
But the mall itself, there were people going up and down the wrong way, not following the arrows. There was probably about 4 or 5% of people wearing masks. The other shops were insisting people wore them that we saw. So we basically left. We didn't feel safe because people were just wandering around, bimbling, blissfully aware that there was anything going on. And at the moment, I am very sort of nervy, anxious, and couldn't wait to get out of there. I did what I went for.
Yeah. I think I'm probably in the same boat as you, Michelle. I mean, I've done an awful lot of my shopping, etc., has all been online. I have really cut back. I've limited the amount of time that I'm going into anywhere that I don't have to be going into. But we did actually take our kind of first venture out today to a couple of well-known DIY stores, shall we say. I thought we'd go and buy some plants for the garden, as you do. And Sam and I think... definitely in the first store we went into, I think we were probably about the only people wearing masks. I think I might have seen one other couple. And the second store we went into, again, I think I saw another couple that came and actually stood behind us in the queue to get in. And they were wearing masks and nobody else was. So it is a bit unnerving when you think, well, I'm taking my precautions. You know, this thing is still there. You're in a queue. You know, like we quipped, it's like queuing for a ride, except it's not that exciting at the end. You know, it's a bit... Although I have commented that the checkout procedure was so much more efficient because there was somebody saying to us, right, till number 3, you know. So we got through the checkout way easier than normal. So there's some things from all of this I think we have to take the positive from, that, you know, putting a bit of cloth over your face ain't a big deal, folks, but actually... bit more better customer service from the shop assistants actually talking to you for a change and directing people. A lot happy to do that, which felt a lot nicer than it used to, bizarrely.
Yeah. Last weekend, a local little coffee shop that I love, they make the most amazing brownies. I promise no more after tomorrow. And we went to support them and got coffee from them rather than going to a big chain, because a lot of these mum and pop type stores in the UK are really, really struggling. And I know this guy is. So we went in, got a coffee from him, and really enjoyed it. And it was nice to see him and his 2 daughters in the store up and running. So, yeah, nice to be able to support people.
Absolutely. And I think I'm hoping that's what happens going forward, is that if people have been using smaller franchises or local businesses, that they carry on doing that post whatever we're going through now is.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots and lots to talk about this week. We have got all sorts of things that we're going to talk about on a Patreon add-on to the end of this show, talking about what's happening with trips and Lego and R2-D2 and our thoughts on the park reopening, what's happening with Splash Mountain, and talking about the food festival. But we're going to do that at the end of this show so that our Patreon supporters have a super duper long show and everybody else has our standard show where we're going to talk about the main feature. And our main feature is coming up right after Jayne has done some On This Day in Disney history.
This is going back an awfully long time. This is before you and I probably even twinkles in our relative parents' eyes. So I want to go back to July the 11th, 1956. This is a really cute story that I found. So there was a family from Wethersfield in Connecticut. They actually had a week-long vacation in California at Disneyland because they won a competition. It was their youngest son won a competition sponsored by the 3M Scotch Tape Company. And they won this trip to Disneyland, airfare, 4 days worth of tickets, hotel accommodations, the whole lot, which I thought was lovely. That's a lovely little story in itself. But the nice little twist with this is that their home movies that they gave the title of Disneyland Dream to, in 2008 was selected for preservation in the Library of Congress National Film Registry.
Oh, wow.
How cool is that? And then in 2010, they actually released it on DVD. I thought, doesn't that just capture a complete moment in time from the general public's point of view? I thought, how cool that their family memories are now actually preserved for, I don't know, in perpetuity, I suppose, that element of they're going to be there in that Library of Congress film registry forever and a day. Beautiful, I thought.
Isn't it nice that they got a gift and they've given the nation a gift in return through sharing their films?
Absolutely. I just thought, yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's almost like the circle of life, Michelle.
Oh, don't get us started. She'll sing.
Me? No, don't worry. There's no chance of me singing. If Molly was here, she might, but not me. But talking about happy events, if we jump forward to July the 13th and we go even further back in time to 1925, this is when Walt married Lillian, their wedding day. Yeah, so they got married at 918 3rd Street in Lewiston, Idaho, which is the home of Sid O'Bounds, Lillian's brother, and Lewiston's fire chief. How random is that?
The first official Disney wedding, then.
Yeah, and then just because I can mention it, so if we go a little bit further forward to 1942, a very famous actor was born in 1942.
Ooh.
And that, Harrison Ford.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, we would, wouldn't we? We'd bless him. So, yeah, there you go. Harrison Ford's birthday and Walt got married.
Oh, thanks for those, Jayne. It's always nice to look back But 1942, hang on a minute, let me do some maths. So that makes 58. 78 is never 78.
I know. It's weird, isn't it, when you do that calculation? Because I still think of him as Indy.
Well,
or
yeah.
as Han. I forget that these actors have to age like the rest of us, bless them.
Yeah, 78. Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. That's my age limit. No. Let's move on before we get ourselves into trouble. And our show topic for this week is the Walt Disney World mountains. And we thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about some of them. And we also asked for your stories and for your opinions, which was the favourite. And we're going to start with the very, very first one that I just randomly picked together. Jayne, would you like to tell us some statistics about Space Mountain?
So, Space Mountain, yes. And my little statistic is on this as well, Michelle. This is the first roller coaster I ever rode, ever, in the whole wide world, ever. So, this opened on the 15th of January 1975. It lasts for 2 minutes and 38 seconds, of which I probably screamed for the whole 2 minutes and 38 seconds. You need to be 44 inches tall to ride this ride, and it gets up to just 28 miles an hour, which is quite tame, I suppose, in modern day standards, isn't it? It has 2 different ride tracks, and it was the first roller coaster to be enclosed entirely indoors and the first to be controlled by computers. It has FastPass Plus and PhotoPass, and the consultant that joined the Imagineering team was an astronaut by the name of Gordon Cooper, who was part of the Mercury 9 and the Gemini 5 missions. So proper, authentic astronaut involved.
So, Jayne, Space Mountain. Technically, there's no mountain.
Well, it's got mountain in the title.
It has got mountain in the title, but when you look at a mountain, it doesn't look like a mountain.
No, it just looks very futuristic-y, sort of space building-y.
Yeah.
But you can't see it anyway, can you? So, you're only looking at the outside of it. You're not seeing the inside of it.
True.
I suppose.
I love this attraction. But for me, I always have to be picky. I love to be on the front row.
Right, okay. That's so you can see where you're going.
Yeah, well, if you...
You know what I mean?
I always end up being behind somebody who's the size of a house and being on the back seat of the 2 rows of 3 in Walt Disney World, as it is. And whilst you're in the back car, you do get whipped around a little bit more and it is a bit more intense. But I just like that feeling of being the first person in it. But I do struggle getting in and out of that ride vehicle, I really do.
Yeah, snug, I suppose.
Well, it's just a long way down and it's uncomfortable. But my happiest memory on that attraction was during an after-hour event with Kat and Lewis. And Lewis was Captain America, I was Snow White, and Kat was Cinderella. And we've got a fantastic picture of the 3 of us dressed like that on that attraction. It is amazing. So yeah, I love it. What about you?
You know me and rides, so this was my first one ever, but and I have ridden it. I think I've only rode it, I want to say I've only done it, I might have done it twice, possibly.
Okay. Is it because you find it too intense, or?
I think it's the fact that it's in the dark. And I liked, if I'm going to do a roller coaster, because we all know I don't do roller coasters really, but if I'm going to do one, I do kind of like to see where I'm going. So I'm okay if I can pick out roughly where I am, then I'm not too bad. But if I can't figure out where I'm going, then it kind of freaks me out a little bit. So, but I was, I say, I have ridden it, and I'm proud to say that I've actually ridden a roller coaster, and I think I may have rode it a second time. But I know the last few times that we've been, I've gladly let Simon and the kids go on, and I will gladly find a bench somewhere and sit and enjoy a beverage or a little snack while they go and have themselves thrown around.
Well, yeah, maybe it's one of those attractions that if they ever put the lights on, it's one for Jayne.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to pop on down to an attraction that is splashing away. We don't know when. If you do want to know a lot about what's going to be happening to Splash Mountain, Jim Hill on the Disney Dish goes through, scene by scene, the new attraction from what he's heard. And I must admit, it sounds really, really exciting.
Okay.
I think they're going to have to do some work to make it fit in Walt Disney World. I think the fit's better for Disneyland, but I do encourage you to go and listen to that show. But it basically opened on the 2nd of October 1992. It's an 11-minute, 45-second attraction. It has a height requirement of 40 inches, has a lap restraint, and speeds up to 45 miles per hour. So it is a lot faster than Space Mountain, which would surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think you realise that, actually. Because reading the facts on Space Mountain saying it's only 28 miles an hour, I was quite surprised, actually, because you would expect it to be much faster than that. But obviously, I suppose with Splash, it's that intensity of the drop, isn't it, that gets you up to that speed, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's just a few seconds at that speed, and the rest of it really is quite a bimble, apart from the other little bits that speed up as well. But yeah, the drop into the Briar Patch is a 52.5 feet drop at a 45-degree angle. As we said the other week on the show, there's 950,000 gallons of water, and Terry Harden crafted the boat texture for Walt Disney World and Tokyo, and her rabbit is featured on both boats in both of those parks. So she's kind of quite sad in a way to see something she worked on in the parks going away, but excited to see what's coming ahead. I know I had a chat with her about it the other day.
I suppose that's always going to be a thing as an Imagineer, isn't it? That there's going to be elements of things that you put into the parks that will naturally get replaced over time. And I suppose you have to accept that whatever you create may not be there forever, and something will come along and replace.
Yeah. Nothing's going to be a permanent fixture, so... You know, I learnt that the hard way with my favourite nighttime parade. You know, I didn't go and see it, and look what's happened to parades now. Yeah,
that's it, yeah.
Okay, Jane, let's move on to Big Thunder Mountain Railway.
So this opened way back on September 23rd, 1980. It lasts for 3 minutes. You need to be 40 inches to ride this coaster, and you have a lap bar. And this gets up to 35 miles per hour. So you've got the tallest part of it on Big Thunder is the hill with a flat top called Butte, and that is 197 feet tall. This is that magic under 200 feet thing we've discovered on our little quizzes, isn't it, Michelle? Everything's got to be under 200 feet. So it's slightly taller than Cinderella Castle, because that's 189 feet. And did you know there's a link to the Enchanted Tiki Room?
Not the tiki 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 room in the tiki 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 room.
Yeah. That one, Michelle.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Well, go on then, tell us.
In the queue, there's a bird cage called Rosita.
And it links to what Jose says in his spiel, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
Aww.
I would do it in an accent, but I'm not going to get away with it, so.
Yeah, I love a bit of Big Thunder.
Yeah, you can't beat Big Thunder. See, for someone who doesn't like roller coasters, I will go on this one time and time again, and I have been known to go on it repeat as well, back to back. So
it's one attraction I would love to be on, and it break down.
Right, just to get the walk off.
Yeah. It has to be in a particular part, though, because it would be really, really good to walk through, you know, a lot of it rather than, you know, you're 2 metres from the exit or something. Well,
that goes for any ride breakdown, doesn't it? You need to be the furthest part away possible.
Yeah, about the middle.
So you get the best walk-through experience.
Yeah, of course. You know me. I want the best bit. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about Expedition Everest, and for me, this one is the creme de la creme. It opened on the 9th of April 2006. It lasts 2 minutes 50 seconds. There's a height requirement of 44 inches, and it's got a lap bar restraint. Now, this is a bit of a speedy sucker. It goes up to 50 miles per hour. It's got that amazing bit where it goes backwards, which I absolutely adore. Somewhere in that attraction, there's my magic band that flew off. Because at the point where you go backward, I put my hands up as the Yeti sort of came towards us, and it disappeared, and I didn't realise till the end of the ride.
Oops.
And then literally, I must have been 6 metres before the ride vehicle got into the station, it stopped.
Right.
So we were in the full baking heat, and it stopped for about 20 minutes. And I'm not kidding. The worst place to break down, because they just fixed it and moved the vehicle on. So I wasn't best pleased with that one.
That's a way to get a suntan, though, Michelle.
It was a boiling hot August day, Jane. It was not the way to get a suntan at all.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but yeah.
So this attraction is 199.5 feet tall, which means it is just under the 200 feet low-fly zone limit. And thanks to Google Earth, You can have a little look on there because they've flown over it, and you can see the mountain and the track create a giant hidden Mickey.
I didn't know that.
Neither did I. So
I'm going to be doing that after I recorded this now.
yeah. So what's your thoughts on the attraction?
I have ridden it. Which is always going to be the thing with me and mountains and roller coasters, isn't it? Has Jayne ridden it? Yes, I have. How many times have you ridden it, Jayne? Just the once, thank you. I was fine until it went backwards. Going back to what I said before about not being able to see where I'm going, kind of did my head in a little bit. Literally, as soon as we started going backwards, I just shut my eyes and screamed. I am such a wuss. I apologise. I am a complete pathetic mess when it comes to roller coasters. I did enjoy what I saw of it, and I love the bit going up and the track disappearing and all that. Yeah, great. I didn't see the Yeti, obviously, because I had my eyes shut, you know.
But what you did do, Jayne, is that you tried it.
True.
And that, for me, is all I would ask of you. And this is why I'm harping on about Tower of Terror, because you haven't tried it.
No, I haven't. I will. And I think there's elements of me, whether it's the older I get, the dafter I get, I don't know. I think possibly as well going through what we're going through at the moment, where you, like you say, you regret not having done something or seen something one more time or whatever it may well be. So there is an element of me now thinking, you know what, when I do get in the parks, yes, I'm going to have to man up and grow a pair, so to speak, and do these rides just to be able to say, at least I have done them and done them once, minimum. Perfect. I might even do Everest again, you never know. I might have a moment of weakness.
Okay, talk to us a little bit about the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which doesn't actually feature anything to do with a mountain in its title.
Yeah.
So, but it is kind of sort of rock work, so I think that's what squeezed it into our mountain list.
I was wondering how it had got in there.
I just like the attraction and I want to talk about it all the time.
Well, that's very cool for you, Michelle, because this is the one thing that I have not been able to ride. Because this opened May the 28th, 2014, and the last time I was in Disney World was 2013. So we were there seeing all the construction happening, but we've never got to ride it. So yeah, May 28th, 2014. It lasts for 2 minutes and 50 seconds. The height requirement on this is just 38 inches, and you get a lap bar restraint with it. It gets up to 34 miles per hour. And it has a great photo pass video, apparently, which I wouldn't know because I've not been on it. As far as I know, and I'm sure you can recommend this, Michelle, that apparently the queue area is supposed to be really cool.
Yeah, normally there's a really interactive element or elements in the queue where there's things to touch and fiddle with and water and gems and all of this. Obviously, you can't do any of that at the moment.
No, that's true, yeah.
But the best thing I love about this is there was a song called In Your Soup, and it was taken out of the Snow White film, but it features as part of the music loop in the queue. Oh,
that's really cute then, to throw something back into it that should have been part of the film originally.
And the thing I like about this attraction is that you've got individual lap bars, and when you're going with someone of a different sizing to you, you've got your lap bar, and it keeps, it's that reassurance. Whereas if I'm with someone who's a bit bigger than me, on Big Thunder Mountain, for example, and it's that separate restraint, you've just got one long restraint, you don't feel as secure, and you do get booted around a bit. So I do like that, but it's surprising that it can go up to 34 miles per hour, which is faster than Space Mountain.
Yeah, because I must admit, I kind of look at it as being what I suppose they quote as being a family-friendly coaster ride, isn't it? So yeah, so it is interesting that you get it back. But I do quite like the idea, like you said, Michelle, about having separate lap bars, because I know I've ridden rides before when I've had Moles or Ethan with me when they've been younger, and of course the lap bar has gone down to me, and you do feel very aware that they're kind of slip sliding around when you've got a littler one with you. So yeah, that's a better way to do it, in my opinion.
Right. Well, there's two more mountains I want to discuss that technically come into this, because one, they've got Mount in their title.
Okay, right.
And two, they are in Walt Disney World.
Right. Why do I feel these a bit tenuous?
They're not the mountains.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So the first one is Mount Gushmore.
Right. Okay.
And
Yeah.
you'll find that at Blizzard Beach, and that opened on April 1st, 1995. And a fair few people had sort of commented on the Facebook page, oh, where's Mount Gushmore?
Oh,
And
wow.
it basically is the mountain that houses the three sections of rides that are labelled the red, green and purple section. But it also hides a lot of the pipe work that ensures the flowing water is able to go up to the rides, etc.
Yeah, because they're tall, aren't they?
And if you recall, on my trip last year, I had a ride on the highest ride, which is Summit Plummet, and it is technically the highest free-sliding body slide in the United States.
Yeah, you wouldn't catch me doing it, Michelle. All kudos to you for doing it.
120 feet tall, and you can get up to 60 miles per hour.
Oh,
So that's
no.
faster than Everest. And
Yeah.
I kid you not, your swimwear does find new places to travel to when you go down the attraction. I can guarantee that.
Yeah. Again, I'm happy to watch you come down, Michelle. And I will stay at the bottom to greet you and look after you when you get off the other end.
I think it's a one and done, hun. The only reason I didn't chicken out of going on this attraction, because Tom waited at the bottom, he wasn't going to do it. There were some little kids behind me, obviously over the height restrict limit, etc. But I thought, there's no way I'm going to climb down the stairs and look like chicken. So, yeah.
Peer pressured into it. I was going to say it's not quite peer pressure, but yeah.
Yeah, and there's an amazing photo pass photographer normally waiting at the bottom to get those pictures of your swimsuit being relocated as well. So it's not one for wearing a bikini. Possibly not a tankini either. And I know that from experience.
So you're not going to get a family-friendly photo pass at the end, are you?
Well, I don't know whether they show that if it isn't family friendly, so we'll see. Is there one over at Typhoon Lagoon, Jane?
There is. You've got another one with Mount in the title. So you've got Mount Mayday. So this opened June the 1st, 1989. And this is a 100-foot tall man-made mountain, which is located just behind the surf pool. And, of course, has the Miss Tilly atop of it. And it's got slides and it's got waterfalls. And you can ride the Mayday Falls whilst you're up there.
Is that one you've ridden?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Possibly. I may have done.
All right. Well, I've definitely ridden it with Stephen, because we rode everything when we went to Typhoon Lagoon the end of the year, but I do recall it. I do like all of the rides at both of the water parks, and I think us in the UK get a really good deal with our tickets, because if you buy them from Disney, we normally get the water parks with us, so...
I must admit, I mean, I'm the same. I don't like the really tall, scary, like we've just talked about with Summit Plum, but anything that I can sit in an inner tube and not have to do much, I'm quite happy to do that. And I love the theming at both of these places, and they're definitely, because of, say, coming over from the UK and having those just thrown in effectively with our tickets, they are definitely, we will try and do at least one day at each of these parks for a must.
Yeah. Well, our listeners have said their favourite mountain is Splash Mountain, closely followed by Expedition Everest.
Right.
So that was very interesting to hear some people's comments about that. Top tip from Kira Powell, though, is if you wanted to ride one of these attractions, is get to the queue just before the park opens, because there's going to be no fast pass people joining the queue, and you're going to be getting on the attraction in Disney's time because the park will have closed.
Yeah, true.
So, but Jane, we've just been spending this show talking about mountains, but none of those attractions technically are a mountain.
No, I don't even know what the criteria has to be a mountain.
I do.
Ooh, I'll go on then.
The recognised threshold for when a hill becomes a mountain is 609.6 metres or 2,000 feet.
Okay.
So, it's got to be 2 millimetres above that required height. So technically, none of them in the theme parks are mountains, but one of them is an actual mountain, and that wins, and it's the highest mountain in the whole darn world, which is
Mount Everest.
Mount Everest, and that is the highest mountain in the world. So technically, it is the best because it's the only one that's a mountain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So when it's a mountain, not a mountain, it's when it's in Disney World.
Exactly. Yes.
So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed our musings about mountains this week. Patreon supporters, stay put, because we will be coming back in a few seconds to go through one or two extra little bonus features for you. Everybody else, if you want to get in touch with us, info@disneydreamgirls.com is our email. Twitter and Instagram @DisDreamGirls. Now, if you want to ride these attractions but don't want to go to Walt Disney World, all you have to do is go to our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com, and we have got point of view ride-ons for all 6 of these attractions. You don't have to spend a penny, you don't have to leave the comfort of your sofa, and you don't even have to wear a lap restraint. So pop on over, have a little look on there, and decide if you haven't ridden these before. Maybe you'd like to let us know which is your favourite mountain after watching the videos. But until next week, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.